Hey guys, hope all is going well. So Jaclyn Glenn released a video this week trying to debunk me and tell everyone how stupid I am. Cause, you know, if someone disagrees with you, it's because they're stupid and not because they have an intellectual premise to do so or anything. In case you don't know who Jaclyn Glenn is, she's an atheist YouTuber who's about 50 times the size of my channel. Believe it or not, I actually have a lot of respect for Jaclyn and enjoy her videos quite a bit. Sure, I hardly agree with anything she says and have attacked her ideas, but I've never gone for the jugular and attacked her intellect or anything like that. Here's what she had to say about my video on atheists and faith.
I'm making my video responding to him. He made a video saying how atheists are pretty much stupid and hypocritical and how he doesn't like being generalized.
Whoa, I never once called atheists stupid. Yes, I said it was dumb and hypocritical when they criticized Christian faith, but to come to the conclusion that I'm calling anyone stupid is misleading in the extreme. I think that many atheists are intellectually sincere in that they're seeking the truth and are open to ideas, and that's something I've always acknowledged. On the other hand, if you browse the comments in my original video or in Jaclyn's response, you'll see a horde of internet atheists attacking Christians like me because we don't have incontrovertible evidence and have to employ faith. For instance, dude, why are you so stupid? You're the most contradictory person on YouTube. My thoughts, you're the type of dumbass theist we can't stand. Hello, these guys are proving my point. Let's recap. I make a video criticizing the criticism of faith and Christian intellect, people get angry, and then they leave comments reiterating my main point. You gotta love it.
So I didn't want to turn around and make a video bashing him just out of respect for someone who I had previously worked with. Apparently he does not feel the same way because he recently made a video about, like I said, atheists and put a clip of me in that video. That opened the door for me to say anything I want about him, so get ready.
To give you guys some background, Jaclyn and I used to work for Maker Studios and Polypop. The goal of Polypop was for liberals and conservatives alike to cross-promote each other in the midst of the 2012 election. We would share each other's videos, like, comment, etc. But here's the most important part, and I say this with respect as factual occurrence and not an attack on Jaclyn, but she claims that she's never tried to attack or insult me because of our past working together, but that actually is false. You see, Polypop would host these live stream debates, and during these debates, people could comment in real time, and I distinctly remember Jaclyn leaving very negative comments during a debate featuring me. I wonder if she remembers, but one user left a comment saying, "I thought all Asians were supposed to be smart," and Jaclyn retorted something along the lines of, "Well, apparently not this retard." So it's always been apparent to me that Jaclyn has had nothing but disdain for me and my viewpoints, so for her to claim otherwise is disingenuous.
If there's evidence behind every major religion, okay, then which one is right? I mean, okay, you do say particularly Christianity. I like how you snuck that one in there. But then there's still lots of evidence for all the other ones.
I'm talking about Abrahamic religions. And for me, the interlocking similarities strengthens the case that one of these religions rises above the hundreds of others that we find around the world. And I'm not talking about coincidental similarities. I'm talking about passages where they flat out agree on historical events and figures. For example, for me, Islam is independent corroboration that Jesus existed.
Has required, requires, and will require faith. No, it doesn't. To believe in something on faith is to believe it without sufficient evidence. If there were enough evidence, then you wouldn't need faith to believe it in the first place. Now, some may just call this semantics, but I disagree. I think using the word faith is the wrong word to use. I think you should use curiosity. Scientists had curiosity that they used to explore new things. I don't know how many times I can address the same frickin' point, but faith, no evidence. Science, evidence. Big difference.
Again, I'm not trying to insult anyone, but I do believe that atheists are wrong about the semantics of the word faith. There seems to be this notion that faith is tied only to religion, but if you look at Oxford, Merriam-Webster, or any other dictionary, there's a host of definitions for the word faith. Jaclyn and atheists believe that faith requires a lack of evidence, that if there's evidence, then it isn't faith. But if we look at Oxford, the first definition says, complete trust or confidence in someone or something. There's no mention of proof or evidence in the definition, so it can apply to anything regardless of the proof. So by that definition, I could say that scientists employ faith whenever they make a hypothesis, because if they only worked on questions where the answers were already known, then there wouldn't be any advancements. The nature of scientific research is to take a risk on an idea where the proof is incomplete. So yeah, I stand by my original point that science requires faith. And if you don't like my use of the word, take it up with the dictionary.
Scientists, in my opinion, are humble enough to say, hey, we don't have all the answers, but we're still looking. And we understand that what we have discovered so far and what we have learned is subject to change. That's the beauty of science, it's open-ended. Whereas with faith and religion, it's this is the answer, there's no changing it.
Really? Like, really? That's why they're called faith-based religions, Jacqueline. We don't have the answers to everything, and most Christians I know don't claim to know everything. If we knew everything that there was to know, then there wouldn't be a need for faith.
What if the physics of the Earth randomly changed? I mean, really, that is your argument? I mean, one wonders if he finished the alphabet in 2nd grade to develop into whatever species of stupid fuckosaurus he happens to be today. And I'm sorry, but hypotheticals are not challenges to theories or even arguments.
And what if the laws of physics are different in different galaxies? If so, who's to say that they one day won't change in ours?
Oh great, look at that, more hypotheticals, I'm shocked.
Jacqueline, honey boo boo child, my what if assumptions were not my arguments. They were demonstrations to prove my point that science doesn't know everything and has to rely on assumptions. It's kind of funny that my hypotheticals were mocked when it turns out that scientists are asking those exact same things. Astrophysicists in Australia and England are currently studying the evidence they have that the laws of physics vary in different places throughout the universe.
He says science can't tell you the difference between good and evil. There's altruism, people have evolved different social constructs based on what is convenient for them to survive and reproduce. It's Evolution 101. And also, neuroscience and anthropology are explaining human morality. It's a vast and exciting field of study. Read a book.
Okay, cool. We can study the evolution of morality, but where does the neural network that determines and defines our innate understanding of morality come from? You attacked my point but failed to answer it.
Unfortunately, your Bronze Age history book that proves Christianity to be true also has a lot of other things in it, like people raising from the dead and walking around and other really super real things that are clearly not made up.
I think it takes more faith to believe in the scientific theory that from nothing came something as finely tuned as our universe than to believe that a man rose from the dead.
Can't wait to watch all your videos on religion because I'm sure it'll make as much sense in those as you made in this one. And since the floor is open for bashing people that you've previously worked with, I can't wait to watch them and possibly criticize them. And I'm sure you appreciate the traffic, so you're welcome.
Aw, thanks. But you have to remember that the point of Polypop was to exchange ideas, and I think that we can hold our own against each other just fine. And remember, only one of us turned this into a personal attack, and that person was not me. You might not like the quick, snappy style of my videos or the animated and somewhat fiery tone that I use, but I have never, ever committed an ad hominem attack against you, Jacqueline, and I hope all is well. To everyone else, I do try my best to read all the comments, so if you have questions or suggestions for future videos, please feel free to let me know below, and I will see you soon.